Did make our quorum. We're at 100 right now. So I want to introduce trustees. You got my left, you got Nick, Hazel, John, Bob,
Good morning.
and Mike, myself, Chris. All right. First off, we need 6 ballot counter volunteers. Raise your hand. Come one, come all.
If you'd raise your hand, if you'd stand up so we can get your name.
Do I have any volunteers to count?
Linda Nolan.
Patty Pete.
Patty Pete.
Patty.
Anybody else willing to count?
4 more.
It'll be quick. There's only one thing. All right, we got Jeannie.
Angie?
And then this lady there.
Carol, you want to count?
Yeah. You get Angie.
Yeah.
She said, no, don't bring me up.
I don't know.
What's your name, ma'am?
Thank you.
Is that 6?
No, we got 5.
One more.
1 more.
One more.
Somebody else want to count the votes?
All right.
What's your name?
What's your name?
Thank you.
Okay, that'll start immediately after the meeting,
Well, yeah, just we're going to do that right up here.
and then be right here at the community center. Okay, announcements. I guess you guys seen it. We got the new family bathhouse up and running. We got the new stage, and it's already had a lot of success. Chip and seal the roads. Where we at, Mike? 3.2 miles?
3.2 miles we've done this summer.
Plus a whole lot of patching. Office upgrades. You want to talk about it, Bob?
On the office upgrades, one thing we've been doing this fiscal year is that we had bought new computers because can you hear it? No? We had bought new computers because our computers were new 30 years ago. So with the new computers and then the new software, we got a version of QuickBooks that is being right now, it's being modified to us for our use. So that's going to help streamline the office staff a lot when they input, say, an assessment. Instead of trying to physically pull everything out bit by bit to go on all the different accounts, they can do it one time in the computer and boom, it's done. That's going to streamline it a lot. Also, it's going to give us more up-to-date reports, like just for instance, for when we closed out for this last month, here we're getting nailed, big time with our assessments coming in. Where the girls stayed late last night just to give me a final total of what it's going to be, and it was quite a bit, like through today. Well, instead of them having to do it that way, we can hit a button and boom, we got a good report. So this new software system is going to help streamline the office work, but it's going to give us much better clarity and us really be able to follow where money is being spent and where it's at. And we're going to be moving some things around. I'll discuss that later with the accounts and things like that. Back to you.
Okay, I know you guys noticed the new fountain in Woodland Lake.
Yeah, get up.
Get close.
Now can you hear me? You guys noticed the new fountain in Woodland Lakes. Hazel, you want to talk about it?
Yes, we have, we put 2. They can't hear me? I think I'm loud.
A lot of people here.
I think so. So we have 2 aerators in the lake and 8 diffusers.
I don't think our mics.
So I can already start noticing a
think
big
our mics
difference
are
in the lake. I can see a lot of the grass is starting to work loose. It's starting to just turn out so much better. The bacteria, that whatever was in there, is looking better. Everybody else sees that too. Other people have seen that. Woodland. Yeah, you need to come and look at it. It looks beautiful. We wanted to see if it was working. We wanted to see what it did, and then we're going to move on to other lakes. Now, other lakes might just need a fountain, might need an aerator. We're not sure what the other lakes are going to need, but we want to start moving on the lakes. We are Woodland Lakes.
The company that we contracted to put this in is the same company also that supplies us our fish. So they're very familiar with this, and they were like, if you want to get your lakes right, you need to aerate it because we don't have boats out there running around. So now with that, since we did a test on that, I've got it set up that every year we should be able to do at least 2 lakes a year to get it caught up. And then that way we'll get one all, you know, and some lakes might take two, like we said, because of the size of them. But it's going to help our lakes tremendously of this algae and the moss, like she said,
It's
that's
going to
growing
help
in.
our fish, too.
Yeah.
It's going to help improve fish. We may not have to put as many in because they will,
There's not going to be as much
Multiply.
die-off either.
so. It does. It looks tremendously in just the few weeks that we had it. I think it's like 3-4 weeks.
And just so you know, we haven't forgot about Crystal. We're still working on the pump station and everything. It's just, we're about 6 weeks out. And events that's coming up, we got the craft fair, October 12th. Halloween party on the 26th of October. And there's also a trunk or treat, October 31st. And a Christmas party. There's actually 2 Christmas parties, Bob.
There's 2 this year.
The first one is November 30th. The time is to be determined on that. And Karen, I think you got flyers for it. And security. John, you got any updates on that?
We had a discussion this morning about hiring another security guard. We know that we've been having some problems lately, and we need a go-to person out here. Let's face it. If you see something happening, or if somebody gets on your lot, or your cameras go off, you need somebody to call. You can call the gate, but then the gate's going to tell you to go ahead and call Washington County. That's an hour out. So we're going to put an ad out, and if any of you know anyone that is a professional security guard, please contact us and let us know, because we'll be taking applications to get somebody in here. And then we'll look at bigger and better things as time go on. But right now, we've got to do something. So that's where we are with that.
Okay. And the big amendment, John, you want to talk about that?
Okay, the amendment. All right, I'm going to try to explain this. Yes, this will allow camping and building on building lots. Yes, it will allow cabins and other structures on building lots. No, it will not change the type of lot. Building rules, except for dwelling square footage, would align with multipurpose lots. Let me first say, I'm with everyone who does not want junk along the entrance of Woodland. We have a process to deal with that, and we are. That said, I do not consider campers junk. They're a vital part of Woodland, and we could not exist without them. I've seen many rundown homes in Woodland that are just as bad as some of the campers and cabins. The past neglect should never occur in the future. Hold your trustees accountable. Why is this being addressed? This board has been studying the indentures and has found many problems that need attention to keep us in compliance. In this case, we're breaking our rules by allowing many cabins, carports, and under 1,000 square foot dwellings on building lots that were constructed in the past. Some have used the word grandfathered. That does not apply. That's only used for past procedures and have recently been updated or changed. Another thing is the allowing campers on these lots for the weekend. That is also in violation of the indentures. So we have 3 options. 1, pass this amendment, and that will bring the existing practices into compliance. 2, vote down the amendment and begin the costly process of causing the removal of the existing structures and cease all weekend camping on building lots. Or 3, continue to look the other way, and now that this is public knowledge, wait for the lawsuits to come. I personally made a promise to obey and enforce the indentures, so number 3 is not an option for me. Another benefit is the revenue that this could create. It's extremely hard to operate on the current budget, and assessment increases are a nightmare, so we're finding other ways to compensate. This is the second attempt to correct indenture violations. The first was the fee clause that we voted down that leaves us vulnerable because we are charging unapproved fees. Hopefully that will be reintroduced with better language in April. The second one is this one, and another to consider is Article 11.2-D, where it says no structure or improvement shall be placed or constructed on any residential lot other than one permanent single-family dwelling. That basically says no cabins or other structures on multi-purpose lots. We need support to clean this all up. Thank you. Now, one thing I want to add to that is Darlene was able to get us some numbers together on these building lots. There are a total of 395 building lots. These were always intended for people to build homes on when this development was going to be a huge Lake of the Ozarks type development. Well, that didn't happen. So out of the 395, she found that we have 10 to 15 homes actually built on them. We have 57 that are on the tax lots. 40 out of the 395 are on the for sale by owners list that are having a hard time selling because you can't do anything with them. So there are a total of 97 lots available to purchase for the owners. There are also 122 lots that have zero balance and paid up. So 122 people are paying assessments on those lots and just kind of letting them sit. And there are 56 in collections. So there are also a total of 216 lots with a balance on them that haven't paid yet. So that's a whole lot of real estate, guys, that could really help Woodland Lakes prosper. So thank you for that. And back to you, Chris.
Approval of minutes. Mike, you got last month, our last property owners meeting?
Yep, I'm gonna read them. Bear with me. We got a long list here. Property owner meeting minutes from April 13, 2009. Trustees present: Nick Carlisle, Tammy Jones, John Kimmick, Chris Land, Bill Mitchell, Hazel Nisbet, Bob Weeder. Call to order. Bill Mitchell called the meeting to order at 10 o'clock. Reported that we had met quorum. Trustee introduction. The sitting board of trustees were introduced. The auditor's report. Janet Morrow, CPA, gave a report of the audit for fiscal year 2018. She said that our financial status is looking great. Our financials were all good and we are out of debt. We currently have over $3 million in assets. We are financially sound. It was announced that the meeting was being recorded. There was a call for ballot counters. The people who volunteered were William Edwards, Linda Camissa, Don Niebrugge, Carla Brooks, Shannon Albert, Jennifer Ham, Suzanne Barnett, Sherry Mitchell, Tim Bradley, and Dave Henthorne all volunteered. Announcements were given. Thanks was given to Dawn Niebrugger, Carla Brooks, and Shannon Albert for helping out with check-in. Ice is being sold at the office. If the office is closed, you can purchase at the gate. Electronic gates have been installed. Woodland Lakes Facebook page is now open to comments. Construction is to begin on stage of April 22nd. The family bathhouse is a work of progress. Community center has been repainted inside and TV installed. There's a new sound system in the community center. There is no smoking in any trusteeship buildings. The lakes were stocked in March. We have purchased all the equipment needed to chip and seal. Before we can do that, we have to start cleaning the ditches out in preparation. Reminder that on all holiday weekends, there is a $2 fee charged for guests. That can be pre-purchased in the office. The new maintenance supervisor, Jason Luke, was introduced. The new security employee, Neil DeClue, was introduced. He will be patrolling the development. We are still working on a waiver system that allows for us to enter private lots in case of emergency. An owner asked if we were going to have police presence on the holiday weekends this year. They are still welcome to sign up and help, and hopefully we will have some that will do that. They will have the ability to arrest where others do not. The trustee candidates for April, each of the 4 candidates for trustees spoke briefly about themselves and their goals to be elected. The 2 open terms are for 3 years. The candidates were Craig Kimman, Bob Weeder, Mike Williams, and Tammy Jones. Amendments, Article X1 would provide a fine system for those who do not complete their permitted item in a timely fashion or as permitted, would give the trusteeship more teeth. New article would provide an assessment increase of $250 for the purchase of fireworks for a public display on the 4th of July. An amendment would allow the trusteeship to charge optional fees for fundraisers, etc., that would allow the sale of various items. The amendment would also add a code of conduct and consequences that would hold trustees accountable for their actions. The approval of the minutes, Tammy Jones read the minutes of the October 6, 2018 property owners meeting. Tiff Knowlton made a motion to accept as read. Kevin Rogers seconded the motion. Motion carried, none opposed. The financial report that was given, Bob Weeder gave the March financial report. He reported that we had collected 65% of our budget assessment income and 87% of our overall budget income. We have spent 53% of our budgeted expenses. He let everyone know that there was a correction to the year-to-date payroll column. It was discovered that the field had lost its formatting, was not accumulating properly. This has been fixed and corrected and is ready to report now. He also clarified that the credit in account 6701-1 was caused by a check that was lost in the mail. It will be zero out in the April report when the check was reissued. John reported that the new computers have been purchased and they are in the works for installation in the near future. Bill said that the lift station from the retention pond to Crystal Lake is also in progress. Updates, Bill reported that the board had met with DNR and the health department recently, still working on a couple of issues regarding septic systems, but it will be worked out. Questions from the April meeting. Linda Camissa had a question about entering private property for a fire or a felony offense. She was answered that if the owner called for help, they are granting permission for entry. The waiver that is being worked on for when the owner is not present. Craig Kinman reminded everyone that the Woodland Lakes Watch Patrol is having a poker run, pancake breakfast, and raffle on Memorial Day weekend. They will also be having a meet and greet at Crystal Lake Park to hopefully pick up some new members. He also asked at the board if they made a decision to allow them to have the roof replaced on the Lakeview dump station. He was asked to get bids and provide them to the board. Norbert Miller asked why the trusteeship is paying the electric at the concession stand. He was answered that the leasee will pay the bill from April to October when the lease expires. The remainder of the year is paid by the trusteeship. He also had a question about the funds for the fireworks if it should pass. Where would the extra money come from? He was answered that we would only spend what we had available. He said that his road had not been fixed for 7+ years. This will be checked into. Holly Heinlein spoke briefly about the Woodland Lakes Anglers Club. She will be closing the club due to lack of participation. She said that the rumors have been passed and telling people not to join the group. Steve Manis asked a question why the check printing was taken from the security account. The banks auto draft the check printing charges from the account the checks are for. He also asked if anything has been done about the water trailer parked on Falcon View. He said it is a hazard. Tammy answered that it has been investigated and they do not feel that it is on the road. He also asked if we have any qualified to drive the oiler truck. Jason will be taking a CDL test and will be qualified to drive the truck. He asked if the ice sales were not a new fee. They are covered under the portion of the indenture regarding vending items. Martha Valner asked a question about the recent break-ins and what can be done about them. She feels that they should have to pay for the damages they cause. Terry Flesher made a request to make a handicap accessible parking spot so they can access the pool. This is being looked into. The family bathhouse will be accessible. Marty Anderson said the employees are patching the potholes properly. They are doing the best they can. Charlie Kappelman had a comment about the chip and seal bleeding on Emerald Drive. This will be checked into. Don Niebrugge asked if the property owner can be forced to forfeit their lot if they steal. No, that would be a violation of civil rights. William Edwards made a comment that he had been vandalized twice in the last year. He was answered that the patrol is on duty various hours, so the pattern is not set. It was suggested that he might want to get an inexpensive alarm system. The cost would be $25, $30 for Amazon or Walmart. Everybody, excuse me, everyone needs to watch out for their own lots, or for others' lots, I apologize. Neil DeClue, the new security employee, spoke with qualifications, what he's doing. He was recently discharged from the U.S. Navy and lives in Woodland Lakes. He has security and first aid experience. He has set up some of the new various routes. He and others will be the only ones patrolling at this time. All they will be able to do if they find someone is doing wrong is to record until the authorities arrive. He reminded everybody that they need to update contact info. He will be following up on complaint forms. Linda Camissa asked a question about the gates not being lowered 4 times in the last month during the early morning hours. Loretta Murphy reminded all about the Easter egg hunt on April 20th at 2 p.m. at Crystal Lake Park. Adjournment of that meeting was at 11:22 a.m.
We need a motion from an owner to accept these minutes. Any opposed? Aye. All right, who was the second? What's your name? Financial report, Bob?
Okay. If you've had the opportunity back on the back desk, there is the cash flow budget report. If you had a chance to pick that up, there is on here, we go over this every month, but this is kind of an important one because this one's going to show a few different things. We began the month, or at the end of the month of September, with $149,377.48. We ended the month with, $329,000 and $32.97. Now that there alone, we had collected our 42%. Normally last year we were at 48, but we were then close to 48 at that number. The staff last night stayed the night or late and added up what's come in even after that for this first week. So collectively, this number under the new system, I could have printed out the immediate number. So our number now jumped up to $446,247, which is 51% of the budget. The budget, which that means people they're jumping in, they're paying their assessments, they're not stretching them out, and also that extra 2%, I think, is for all the newbies that have come in. I know this place has always had people sell, people come and go, but we're starting to see a trend. A lot of new buyers are coming out, and that helps us in the assessments to help to raise the money for what we need. So we're basically at 51% of our budgeted. Now you're going to notice in here that we have a budgeted amount for this year of $877,270. That's our actual working number for the budget. At the top, you will see up there, you'll see this $1,031,000. That would be the number if everybody paid. You'll see bad debt, allowance for bad debt of $288,680. The problem with how this was originally set up, which under the new system, we're going to change it. This system was set up, that bad debt was from day one, and it's never been changed. So I never had an accurate number to know where we're at with that. So now with the new system, we'll get a new number with that to see how far behind it is or to see where that number's really at. Because some of that, it's been going on for 30 years. So we'll have a much better accounting system even at our next month's meeting to show that. So that's why those numbers, I always question that, why that was. But the actual budget that we planned, so I've heard some people say and ask, hey, how can I get the budget? Where can I find it? It's right here on those cash reports. So you want to look at the bottom half of it. It shows the expenditures that we planned. I planned a little conservative this year. I saw what we did for the last 2 or 3 years. This year I tried to be a little more conservative in thinking, we probably won't spend this here, but we might spend this here. That's how then collectively, once we put that together, that's how we came up with a budget that we were gonna need $877,000 to make it for the year. So now that's one number. Then you're gonna see over here in these other sheets, those are dedicated accounts. That means when we all pay our assessment, there's a certain amount comes out because it was voted in by the property owners. So much goes to fish, so much goes to the lake, so much goes to the roads, so much goes to the electric. Those go into a special account that money can only be spent for that. We can't move that around. It has to be spent on that. So sometimes that account might grow. All of a sudden, then we realize that's how we could look in the fish and the lake account and go, hey, I got a little money there. That helps. We can do with the fountains to help the lakes. So because it's growing. So, but that's a separate issue than the rest of the budget. So actually, our budget that we planned on for this year is $877,000, $270. That's something that we have as a board voted to approve that, and then in turn we asked the property owners to ratify that. That's the number we're working from. One thing I need everybody to remember: come April, there's going to be a road assessment fall off. It was a 10-year road assessment. It was like $12. We need that. We're going to have to put it back up for a vote again. I need that $12 back in there to help be able to do this budget, help do roads. That was the kind of money Mike needed to keep things rolling along. We got over 3 miles of chip and seal done, a lot of patching done, a lot of gravel work done. We need that money back in there to help do that. So it's not like our assessments are going to go up. It just continues to go on then. So that's just something you need to watch for in April, if you would. So that's where we're at this point that I can think of everything.
Can I get a motion to accept the budget?
Okay.
Second? Okay,
Angie seconded.
Sure.
somebody.
Okay.
Any opposed? Aye.
Sure.
You said that's a cumulative money over subdivision? No, that's 28% of the budget, which you said. That's doubtful accounts.
Yes, that's the way it was originally set up. Could you come up here and talk so we can get it? We're filming it, so.
On line 1090, all right, that's allowance for doubtful accounts,
Yes.
and that's 28%, which is probably
Yes.
a real logical number. But that isn't accumulation of past 10, 15, 20 years. If it is, it's going to be well over $1 million. I'll tell you that now for myself. I was a treasurer for 9 years, so that is 28% of the current assessments that we're expecting not to collect. So you're part right, that is what we're expecting the people not to pay. So you're wondering about the guy next door that ain't paying his lot rent, his lot assessments, that's at 28%.
That's why he said we
But-
carried that on for 30 years.
But it's not carried on.
No, not dollar-wise. We've carried
Okay,
that
well,
percentage
that's the way I
over.
understood you to
Oh,
say it.
we carried
And I
that
imagine that's what we
percentage
ought to.
over.
That percentage, actually, when we first started doing this about 20 years ago, it was about 10%.
Mm-hmm.
Then it went to 15, and now it's up 28, which is probably logical. So I'm not complaining about the percentage, but just for everyone to understand, that's not a cumulative, because if it's a cumulative, you're talking, gosh, I would guess, this is a completely speculation, probably $5 or $6 million. You have to ask the collections agency how much is actually there.
Mhm.
All right, so that's actually, that's all, that's it.
Sure, thanks, Bob.
Any opposed? Passed.
You grab the sheet for questions.
Yeah, sign up sheets up there.
I'm just playing some random stuff. Just playing some random stuff.
Randall?
Hello, I got a couple of things.
Must-
And
Just
just
state your name, sir.
Randall Noley. And just a real brief history of myself. I have been involved with the law an awful lot throughout my life. okay? And there's an awful lot that I know about it because of what I've been doing and what my job was and what I've been doing. I've been involved with the law an awful lot throughout my life. Now, having said that, okay, the bit you mentioned about grandfathered, yes, grandfathered itself refers directly to something that was written before.
Correct.
Okay, but there is, and I would have to look up the exact term, but you can still allow something that happened in the past that was done without permission against that to continue and to not have to go against the people who did it until you realized it was happening. Okay, it follows the same category as grandfathered. Matter of fact, you can look it up in your
Well, I did. I already
regards to what
spoke.
the
I spoke to an attorney about this, and that's what he told
and
me.
you can look it up, even in regards to what you guys have in relationship to the Department of Natural Resources. Your agreement with them that was done in 2014, they allowed the people who had already put in septic tanks that weren't allowed, okay, to be there and continue, okay? And that is the exact thing I'm referring to. It's the exact same law, and you've even had it work for you in regards to that.
Well, here's the problem you run into. Since these buildings were put in illegally,
The
now
same
the
with
next,
those septic tanks.
Now the next, this has nothing to do with DNR. Nothing at all.
No, I'm
Because
just-
building
I'm
lots and multipurpose
I
both allow
realize, I
septic.
realize that. I'm referring to the fact that you're saying you can't grandfather them in.
You can't
You
grandfather if they were
cannot.
never
But
approved in
there's,
our-
that's right.
in our
And it's the
indentures from the
same
beginning.
thing as what the DNR says about the people who put in the septic tanks who weren't supposed to. They weren't allowed to, but they were allowed the ability to keep them without the fines and everything else because it was acknowledged. Yes, you did this. It was wrong, but we're going to allow it. You
We
can
don't
do
have
the
the power to
same
do that.
thing.
And
Yes, you do.
so then the next person
Anybody
that comes
does
in
who
and builds
has a-
another,
No, you say it
property-
ends at this point, the same as the DNR did with you.
well,
It's
the lawyer I
exact-
spoke to said that's not the case.
Okay,
but we'll
that
just
lawyer
agree to
does not
disagree.
know his law then.
Okay.
Because you can look at your own stuff.
DNR is its own entity, though. We
I
have
know,
nothing to do
I
with
know.
DNR.
And
Let's not make this an
your
argument.
own
Can we move
entity refers to this
We got a
portion.
3-minute time limit. You've
He's
been up
just
to
Okay.
5
trying to
minutes.
say that it's related to what you're saying about.
You're
building.
saying you
It's-
can't
it could be
grandfather,
related,
and you
but-
can't, but
but
there's
we work
another
as
law
Woodland
that
Lakes.
allows you to do the same thing. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, thank you,
So
sir.
you can get rid of that.
Thank you.
The other thing is,
Your 3 minutes is up, sir.
who wants me to leave?
It doesn't matter. Then
Okay,
just stay
so
3
I can't
minutes.
say the other stuff about,
Keep talking.
It is a
Okay.
3-minute time limit. I've said it 3
okay,
times.
the other things are, number
Next,
one,
Loretta.
okay. They're saying a lot of things
The
here
indenture states
that
3
does not
minutes.
follow the law.
We didn't implement that the last board,
The indenture stated.
but I don't think we should have.
Well, he's welcome to do
Circle
that.
back around. There's got a lot of people.
Loretta. No, it's different.
Was that for everybody?
Loretta. For a trustee to speak, it was.
Can we have a lighter note?
Yeah.
Okay, my name's Loretta, and for the last few years, I've chaired the Halloween party. This is a community event that's been going on since the late 1980s. I'm not sure who started it. I know that Darlene's grandma was one of the ones that started this. Our Halloween party will be on the 26th. It starts at 6, and there's no cost for this. It is all done by the donations that people give us. I have a donation jar on the back, and we've been, for all these years, we've been able to do it with the donations. And we'll have hot dogs, chili, nachos, so forth. We'll have a chili contest for the adults, and you have to have your chili here before 6. We'll have a costume contest for everybody. We'll have a haunted hayride, and we need people to be in the woods for the haunted hayride. If you're willing to help, I have a sign-up sheet on the back. I could use all the help we can get. I need candy, of course. On the 25th, we're going to be coming up here at 10 o'clock, and we're going to do the candy bags and decorate. So if you have any questions, I got a table in the back. Come back and see me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you want to talk to her about implementing the two together?
Somebody just asked me a question. They wanted to know where they can give the candy. You can either leave it at the office, at the gate, or bring it to my house. And I can tell you where I live. And there's a donation jar also in the office, too. Thank you.
Lisa Moxie.
Hi, I'm Lisa Moxie. I'm new to the community. I do want to point out that he's right on a lot of the building lots. There is a lot of building lots on, but there's not near as many building lots on that list as there are camping lots and multi-purpose lots. And I do feel that if we could focus our efforts on cleaning up some of these camping lots, if people are really wanting to camp, there are more lots available on the camping list. There's over 1,000 that would easily be campable in no time, and several of these building lots that are available, you'd almost have to build a platform to park a camper on. You'd have to build something and make great efforts to do so, because when we were looking for our lots, that's what we found with the building lots. So I'm not so sure that our efforts to change things about the building lots is as important as getting rid of some of these old, and no, trailers, campers are not junk until they're broken down, laying on their side, doors hanging open. Then not only are they junk, but they actually become a hazard for people. And
we agree with you 100%. We really do. And we're working on that. You know, this is something we're taking on, but you're missing the point about this proposal. It's not about the usability of the lots and all that. It's about the fact that we are breaking our rules right now. We are in violation of our indentures by allowing what's on there. What? So anyway, that's the biggest problem we have by allowing people to camp on them for the weekends and things like that. That is breaking our indentures.
Well,
so that's the biggest, that was the main reason this came up. It really doesn't have anything to do with the availability of the lots and the conditions.
I didn't see
and
anything
things.
that said people couldn't camp on.
Yeah, our indentures say building lots are for residential purposes only, period.
Right, but it makes
Period.
sense that you can drive up to your lot in a truck. You know, it's not specifying
Makes
what
sense,
kind of
but
vehicle
camping's not
that you
residential.
come in. Right, and
I know we can all
there's
say that,
no
we'd love
time
it.
limit that says you can't be on your building lots to clean them up, or what kind of vehicle you
Yeah.
come in.
And then we also
but
have
obviously
cabins
you
and
can't
stuff in
leave it
violation.
sit there. When you leave, you got to like drive off or pull it out. That's not a big deal.
Not a big deal if we just want to look the other way. That's what I'm saying. Our vote to change that, I mean, we could easily vote and say people can camp for the weekend and leave. I mean, if that was something that people wanted to vote on, that would be fine too. It's just we've got to find a way to fix the problem we have, which is we are in violation of our rules, and we just got to fix it.
Well, I'm more worried that there's going to be a bigger problem with just allowing people camping for the weekend when it's obvious that there's more of an issue with people leaving stuff on the lots, using them as a disposal
Right.
place. And I know everyone plans to keep that, but until we can all see the rest of the park, what's already there and on the community's plate to clean up, get started at, make progress with, it's almost scary to think that we're going to add to that.
Point well taken.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Craig Kingman. Craig.
Hi, folks. My name is Craig Kinman. I'm with the Woodland Lakes Community Neighborhood Watch. Just like to say thank you for everybody coming to all of our benefits that we had. We finally got the roof put on the Crystal Lake Water Pump House. I hope you all went by and looked at it. Looks really nice.
Looks real nice.
The next thing we want to do to it is we want to power wash it and paint it the dark brown paint. It really looks nasty. We like to go with like a tan color to it to make it look a little bit nicer. The other thing that's coming up is we still have our first lot assessment raffle going on right now. It's a brand new one. It ends at the Valentine's Day dinner dance. It's $5. And I know your assessment's already paid, but this will pay next year's assessments. And if you already had those paid, we'll pay the next year's assessment on your first lot only. $5 a chance, folks. It saves you $215, I think it is. So that's a good deal. The other thing is we were having our Valentine's Day dinner dance. It will be held the Saturday before Valentine's Day. We will be selling tickets for this. The tickets will be on sale starting tomorrow. Get a hold of Neighborhood Watch people, or you can call. I'll have a number put on the internet so that everybody can know. We are selling tickets this year. It won't be by name because we've had people come in that didn't have the right credentials, or they sold their spot. We couldn't keep track of them. So now you'll get a ticket for you and your wife or your significant other. You can come single or you can come as a group. It doesn't matter. But we are limited to a certain number of tickets, so please sign up early. And thank you.
Thank you. Bill? Bill Mitchell?
All right, my name's Bill Mitchell. I used to be on that side of the table, but now we're over here. We started a group. One of the reasons why I resigned is my responsibility has changed now. I'm responsible for my own self. The things that we're doing, we started a group called the Night Owls, Woodland Night Owls. And what we're doing is we're compiling lists of property owners with cameras that will assist. We're setting up patrols. We got 3 officers on our site and a Washington County officer that's also on our site, and we're all working together. Major things, protect your own lots. If you see something, get a hold of an administrator. And what we're doing is we're going out, a lot of times with the officers. We were out last night. During the week, we were out Wednesday night with the officers, and we went and checked out a few problem areas. And we've actually got them cleared. So this is not a fly-by-night organization by no means. The other thing we have is we got a waiver set up if you want to grant Washington County or other police departments to enter your lot if there's a break-in. It's not for us to go walking around on your lot, enjoying your food you left over or anything else. This is for law enforcement. And if we find your building broke into, what we will do is, being you signed up, we have your waiver, we can also give that to the officer so he can go right onto your property. We don't have to wait. Some of you guys, say if you're a truck driver, you're 5 states away, you cannot make it here. Time is of the essence to get these reports put in. So with your waiver, we can take it with the officer, and the officer will look at it, and okay, he'll go onto your property. We will notify the owner and let you know that your place is broke into. We're going to secure it for you. Police officers made a report, give you the contact information. So when you fill out the waiver, give you a lock block section, your name, and contact information. We will contact you immediately when we're out. Might even call you if we see an issue maybe you could help us with. The smallest of details are very important. Like I said, there's a Washington County officer on our site, so if you see something or whatever, report it. If you post, he's watching everything. So license plate numbers, he might be somebody wanted somewhere else hiding in here. You don't know. So even if you're not on the Night Owl group, we still have the waivers available, and they do not leave Woodland. So if an officer comes out here, they are here, and we can assist. What we're trying to do, obviously, is get this stuff under control. And right now, that was my top priority, along with some really, really great people. We got over 100 members on it. So if you want a waiver, basically, it states that law enforcement, it's not just give us total permission to go play in your place. Washington County's reviewed it, they liked it, and we had 2 other officers look at it. So it's something that's real, and it's actually very helpful to every owner in here. The other thing, take your time and watch your neighbor's property. How many more minutes do I got?
Go.
Okay. This is We were out pretty late last night, that's why I didn't get here real early. I need my beauty sleep, obviously.
Hey, it was 1 o'clock when you left my place.
Yeah, and I'm way short, so I got years to make up for. We do have, anything you do see, we ask, please do not post it on the site, because what we're doing is we're giving, it's a secure site, you can't search for it, you have to know us, but accidents happen, you leave a phone sit there, somebody else can see it. We're asking you, please do not post it publicly, because everybody wants to pitch in and help. There's no doubt about it. But what happens is now everybody starts going over there, you could be messing up something we got under control, we're trying to investigate. I'm not going to get into a bunch of details. This is a public meeting. It will be posted. People can hear, so I'm not going to tell a lot of what we're doing, but that's kind of the gist of it. So if you see something, report it, and we'll go out, we'll investigate, we'll include you, and we will inform everybody of what's going on. We're running on a lot of guidance from officers. So this isn't a bunch of vigilantes out there trying to do this on our own.
Where's these waivers? Do you have a site?
Yeah, they are on the site, but it's better because they got to be witnessed, so that way they're all legal. You can see any of the administrators, all administrators have got one. Paul, I don't know, you probably got your briefcase with you, don't you? Oh, well, don't worry about that. Sheila, you got yours, right? So if you want to get a waiver, get with us, and we'll get you signed up. Also, this is the most important thing. If you are broke into, you've got to make a report. What we've seen in the past is no one's making the report, so then there's no teeth. We can't do nothing. We're letting the thief go. I understand people do get nervous about retaliation. All right, well, I'm going to tell you right now, there's over 100 members on this, and there's even members on this group that will go with you to court. We will walk with you through this whole process, not to mention, trust me when I tell you, we'll beef it up around your place. There's not going to be retaliation, that much. I get phone calls 1 o'clock in the morning. I'll be there, trust me. So I know Paul and everybody else, we're taking this very, very seriously. So if somebody breaks in, make a report, whether it's little or big. The other thing we're doing is we're networking cameras, basically networking the data. It's not so we know where your cameras are at. It's not so we know how many you have or any other reason other than the fact is if you sign up and you got cameras, if we have a problem in your area, we will contact you. Hey, do us a favor, look for this, what do you see? And then all of a sudden, we start getting a same vehicle in the same spot every time there's a problem. It's just collecting data for our Washington County officers to do their job. So that's very important. We're not trying to be nosy or find out where your cameras are at. Unless there's certain, that's a good question. I wish the officers were here. But there's certain things, unless there's like a felony or something along them lines, they can't just walk in your house. They can't just walk in. No, they don't.
Within your private property, okay, there's a thing called curtilage, which is basically your yard and your house or campers, okay, which they cannot enter unless they see something obviously wrong, is a danger to either you or somebody else.
It's not a danger. You could have left it open to air it out.
I know.
So a lot of times what I see is the officers, you have to be here with them. So that's what the waiver is about. If you don't want one, that's no problem. We're just trying to help every owner in this place. Okay, well, I was still talking, sir. Go ahead. Yes, there is a list. We will post it. It's been posted on the website. Sheila, do you have that list in writing? Do you have a list of the administrators? I know you posted on the owners only page and everything else. That's 911. No, you call 911 if there's a problem. The other thing is too is we don't, and this will sound, I don't want to sound stupid or ignorant. Yeah, you just call them, well, yeah, and they'll tell them where it is. Or, you know, if you want help, you can call one of the administrators. We will help you. We can help meet them. We're going to here to help. The other thing is, too, we don't call the county out here for every little thing, like suspicious door or this or something we see. We have officers that go with us. We look at it. If it's deemed necessary, then we'll call them. Because last thing you want to do is cry wolf and have them out here every 2 minutes. So there has to be some sort of organization, and that's what we're setting up now. Linda?
Bill, do you have meetings that people can go and get more?
Information, yes. They'll be posted up
He had one last Saturday.
Sunday,
Last Sunday, I'm sorry.
10 o'clock. So this is still early beginning. We wanted to get a lot of stuff put together. I've been working on this for a couple months now because crime is, in my opinion, #1 priority. Plus, at the trustee meetings, they didn't have no food, so that
We
kind
just
of.
need to show people they're not just taking advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't run our.
Yes. Yes, and she'll repost it up there too. And just so everybody knows, we're doing this and we're trying to help this. We got to get this thing curved. Now, you'll also see some orange lights driving around. That's also, are we planning on catching somebody? No. Can we find something possibly broke in? Possibly. We had an owner send us a report last night of something that looked pretty suspicious. So we went out there and we did look at it, and luckily it looked like a new owner clearing his property and had a tarp over some property of his. So, but it was something new, a fresh trail, tarps, kind of looked funny. Hey, don't hesitate to call. You know. So what we're doing is compiling lists. Sheila's went through and we've got a map, and from everybody that we've seen so far, past posts and ones we know about break-ins, she has circled sections. And you would be shocked how Woodland's divided as far as theft and no theft. And certain areas are a little stronger. We had people out roaming last night, driving around. What they did is they contacted the administrator because how do you know where to go, where our hot spots are, where to maybe stay away from because we're working on something. So all we asked, if you want to just cruise to the dumpster and all that, that's fine. But if you actually want to help out and you want to really patrol a certain area to try to help the people, we told them a couple of sections to go to and concentrate on. That also lets us know if we don't hear back from them, this is more like an owl thing. What we do is we don't hear back when they're off, then we might go out looking for them because they could be in trouble, stuck or anything else, no cell signal or whatever, because we do try to stick together. We also carry identification, a little, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you could ask if you see somebody with a light, because they may go buy a light, face it. Anybody could sit there and say anything. But we also carry, and we change it up, a little bit of different ways to identify us. So if you ever have a question, ask the administrator and tell you what to look for. If you tell everybody, then they just go get the same thing. So, and we do change it up pretty regularly.
Will you guys stick around until the end of the meeting so we can ask more questions?
Yeah. I don't have my owl suit on, but you
That's
might
what I was
know.
going to ask. Do we get costumes?
Yeah, I'm working them.
Okay.
I actually had to call the tent and awning store to get mine made. They're a little bit behind the schedule.
All right.
All right, we need to move on.
All right. See us afterwards. It's already been talked about.
Thank you, Bill.
Cynthia Pelt?
Are you behind this group?
No, not at all. We can't sponsor that. Come sign up.
I just have a question about that gentleman. He only got to speak for 3 minutes.
Yep. He's on the list again.
My name is Cynthia Pelt. I just had a question for Bob. On our financial, what do we actually, when they came and did it, what did they actually do? The audit or a actual report?
When they did the last April,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing they did on an audit then when they had come in, they went through the actual records to see if they balanced. That's all they did.
So they
Because
didn't-
there's different types of audits, as you probably know. So
Correct.
they did not do, if you call it a deep dive audit or find discrepancies, they just strictly, it was always contracted to them to look at the numbers, that they all balanced between all the sheets. It's going to be different this year, but that's what they did back then.
So why aren't we doing a true audit on the books? I mean, it's easy just to.
We will this year, like I just said. I've got somebody else lined up different this year to do it totally different.
Can we
compared.
see the books on that in the audit and have our taxes all been filed, and are we up to date on all the taxes?
Yes, we are. Yeah. And
we
the
see
taxes.
all of that?
You can come into the office to look at that. That's not information we're just gonna hand out to the general public. But if you'd wanna come in and see it, I was surprised that our taxes aren't this thick. But because of the way we file, you know, for the way we are, they're just a few pages. It's just,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
amazed me, you know what I mean? But no, and it surprised me of the type of audit that was always done here.
So from this point going forward, will we do an actual correct audit?
We're gonna do an
for all of
actual
our
correct
books?
audit. And it's gonna really help with the new, I think, the new bookkeeping procedures to be able to see what and where. Because you gotta remember up there before, they were using an old Excel, you know, on QuickBooks. Then they were always also using Access that didn't merge, they didn't even talk. And then plus, they were even using some handwritten journals. So it was like 3 different systems they've been trying to do books with. So we're gonna go to one system.
Okay, so we'll do the reports and the audits both when we
Uh-huh.
start in April. Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
That's my plan.
Okay, Randall.
Okay, anyway, I pointed that part out about, like I said, it's the same thing as grandfathering, but it's not called by that term. And if your lawyer doesn't know it, get in touch with me. I can look it up and get it.
You heard of Brian Cave?
I
Tom,
don't know
Hey,
any
Randy.
of the lawyers
Randy, can
around here.
I'm going to pause you for just 1 second. I need to make a quick announcements.
Oh, okay, sorry.
There's people that got four-wheelers parked out here, and people are trying to get out with their vehicles right now. So if you have a four-wheeler or side-by-side parked in the middle of the parking lot, can you go check it and move it so people can get out? I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Go right ahead, Randy.
Okay. Anyway, I do not know him.
Yeah, it's fine. No,
So,
that's a law
anyway, that does exist. That is capable for the trustees to do that. The other thing is, have you guys got with DNR in relationship to changing the nature of the building lots? Because that is not allowed without them giving you permission. Even if
That's false.
if everybody
That's
votes,
false.
That was
yes.
tried
No.
before, and they didn't.
It's
they didn't give
right
it to
here.
us. We just had a meeting with DNR.
Any change with respect to the nature of use, expansion, re-subdivision, or reconfiguration of any lot shall be considered a violation
Right.
that you have to
Those
get
are both
permission.
residential lots,
Yes.
so you're not changing any configuration or any
Yes, you
use.
are,
You can
because
actually
they
have a
are
septic
specifically set
system.
up as building lots.
Okay, we'll take that into consideration.
That's another thing to consider there. And it, like Lisa pointed out, if you're looking at increasing the money,
That's
there's
really not
thousands.
The, that's not the.
Okay. And
It
one
helps, but-
other thing legally, changing.
That's the tax list right now.
Yeah.
And that's behind.
That's what I'm.
We work on that all the time.
Changing I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. Anyway, the changing does need that allowed. The 1,000+ lots, though, would definitely make more of an impact on the bottom line than, what, 100? But either way, there's also the fact that the people who have building lots now, especially the people who've already built on them or done something with them, you open yourself up to a lawsuit from them also.
Not if
Because
it's
you
voted
are-
in by the people. If it's voted in, you don't have a choice.
No.
Many-
You don't
many
have a
recreation-
choice, but you can still
Nah.
sue for the change.
Chesterfield, Wildwood, a lot of them started out their subdivisions with no fences or satellite dishes, and then they've turned around and changed those things. Nobody can sue because you put up a satellite dish or a
No.
fence because it's been voted in by the
You can't-
members, and that's how that
You
works.
can
But-
sue the group
well, you can
for
sue for anything. You can
changing.
sue because it's windy.
What are you gonna do, sue yourself? I mean,
Yeah,
the
but wait,
owners
you were
vote on it.
talking about the people suing you for the other, okay?
Well, that's discrimination. You've got lots
yeah,
that
yes,
have already got
but you're
stuff on.
you're saying the same thing doesn't apply. It does.
Okay.
You can turn
Take
around
that.
and do it both ways.
Very good.
The other thing is,
We're gonna get you in a second.
sorry. The other thing is, in consideration to what he's talking about with the finances, okay, guys? If it continues the way it is, where there's not an increase, within 10 years, they aren't going to be able to keep up with doing your roads or doing anything. Because every year, inflation is going to run their cost up for what they've got to do. You give it 10 years, and they've lost 20% of what they got. That's just a fact of life. I'm not trying to get that changed right now, but it is something to take into consideration when you vote for an increase or even just to match inflation for where it's at. It's just something to take into consideration. One other thing I wanted to mention, and this has to do with people stealing and breaking into places and that. I would like to get with you and set up a fund for a reward that goes to the apprehension and the conviction. Thank you.
That's already.
Like
in
I
the
said-
works.
We already started working
Here's
with
the
the attorney
problem.
to write that up.
Okay.
Here's a problem.
Anyway.
We've already done that.
Okay.
We voted on it.
Wait,
The
wait.
problem is, how do you determine what applies? So if somebody
No.
steals a TV set,
Okay.
you're gonna get $2,500 for
No,
turning them in?
here's what you do. You set it up. Okay, and I will give $300 to this to start it, okay? Straight out. You set, let's say, for a misdemeanor conviction, for information leading to the arrest and conviction of a misdemeanor conviction, okay, a reward of, okay, $300. For a felony conviction, $2,500. Okay, so that means that anybody who comes in here and steals,
Over $700.
yeah, over $700,
Is a
if you
felony.
can get the proof of it and get the felony on them, then guess what? You can also turn around and the state, county, whoever can seize the property because it would have been used in conjunction with their theft and felony.
Yeah.
We had a couple more people to talk. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon?
I know, everybody's leaving.
Let's get inside up here.
Want to get it in. Can we get this guy in before they all leave?
She's the last one.
He's very long-winded.
Good morning. I'm Sharon Stott, and I'm sorry, I'm a little short here.
Come on.
So first, I wanted to say that my husband and I are new to Woodland Lakes,
Hey,
and
we're still in a meeting.
that's okay.
We're still in a meeting.
And I just wanted to thank the board and the staff for the time and effort that they put into, this community. I do understand that a life of public service can sometimes be challenging, and it's a difficult role to serve. And I do appreciate the service that you have done to our community.
Thank you.
And my husband and I really enjoy it here, and I know that you have some challenges that you have to face, and so I do appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I guess my only comment from this being my first meeting to watch is that I really do believe in the democratic process and how important it is that regardless of whether we agree or disagree to a public comment, that we allow that person to say what they need to say and give them the full, time that is allotted if they choose to use it. So that's just my personal feeling about, watching today's meeting. So, and I did have a question that is unrelated. Because I am new, I'm not really sure of what the process is. And I have put in a couple requests for maintenance, and I know that the maintenance staff are really busy and everything. And to be respectful of their time and all the other projects that they have, I just didn't know what is a reasonable amount of time to, allow a maintenance request, because I don't want to be a stalker or,
I'll take that right
so,
here.
and then-
Basically, no, I'll go ahead and answer you. Right now, you're looking at about 2 months. We just got finished with all the hard surface roads, and if it's probably gravel road request?
No, it's a mowing issue.
Okay, we'll get on that here
Okay.
shortly,
Okay.
because we have a bunch of them to catch up on,
Okay.
since we were on the hard roads,
Okay.
but they will be addressed.
Okay. Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we have Airvac here. Airvac,
Airback, what's your name? I forgot.
Airback. You're up.
you're up. You're up.
No,
You're up.
no,
You're
we
up.
need, you
About
need,
Airbac.
we want you to talk.
Come on, they ain't gonna,
No,
they ain't
it's
gonna be
not
quiet
gonna
till you
work.
do. But they don't like me.
Hey, how we doing? I don't think I need this thing.
We're recording.
Oh, being recorded. Big brother's watching. My name's John Farrar. I'm with AirEvac Life Team. How many people know me?
Right,
Who are members?
yeah.
There you go. Who's been using the referral program?
Oh, we tell people.
Aw. So if you're sitting next to somebody, let me start over. John Farrar, AirEvac Life Team. Been with AirEvac 15 years, folks. 15 years. Been married 33 to a wonderful woman, Betty. She couldn't be here. You remember she was here last year.
Yep.
She got more comments than I did, so. Anyway, I'm here to sign people up that aren't members. The person that's a member. Anybody. Why you a member? Just in case.
Did you name your name just in case?
What happens if you get flown from here? Yeah. What happens if you're an AirEvac member?
No bill.
No out-of-pocket expense. Isn't that nice? You can ask Santa Claus about that, right? I think we've flown him 3 times, haven't we? Yeah, frequent flyer miles. He said no demonstrations today. Listen, folks, it's real simple. The membership is very affordable, okay? If you live in this area, if you have a place here, you want to be a member. What are these?
Stickers, bunny truck.
What do they do?
Let people know you're Airback members.
And if you're a member and you don't get a bill, what else does it do?
I'll sign up.
Oh, there, and turned it in.
Helps your neighbor.
It's a lifesaver.
People like here right in the front row. I'm bad with names, but they've been members for a long time. They actually increased their membership to 10 years last year.
Turned it in down there.
10 years.
You expect to live a long time, right?
Andersons are gonna live a long
They've been members a long time. They lived in Farmington, and then they moved down here, right? Now you're back here. So, thanks for all you do for the community. Now listen, folks. Anybody here travel? Raise your hand. We have a new program. What's it called?
Can hardly raise it.
Fly You Home. What's it do, Bill? Anywhere in the 48 states. Anywhere in the 48 states. We'll put you on a fixed wing and fly you back home to where you want to be. Okay? It's real simple. You come outside, you fill out an application. If a person, the ones that aren't members, raise your hand. If you're not a member, raise your hand. See the person next to you? Now, raise your hand if you're a member. You bring that person next to you that's not a member out, we'll give you additional time, we'll give them additional time. No out-of-pocket expense to you, covers everybody in your house, and you're not only helping your neighbor and people around you, but you're helping us build. Let me tell you something. We're the largest air medical service in the United States that offers a membership. 320 bases in 38 states. We actually cover you in Alaska and Hawaii now. And this Fly You Home is anywhere in the 48. All you have to do is be 150 miles away and be admitted to a local hospital. Once those 2 things happen, you're going to make the phone call to us and say, I want to be back at Barnes, Mercy, wherever it is you want to be, okay? And I want to end on this note. We are officially the service for Lake of the Ozarks, Jeff City, and Columbia, Missouri. Come on. You know what Columbia wanted? A tiger on the helicopter. They got it. Listen, 2 things I want to leave you with. Always keep Jesus in your heart and a smile on your face, and I hope I didn't offend anybody by saying that. But we need to pray for this country, we need to pray for our military, we need to pray for our families, and most of all, we need to pray for the ones that are lost. Thank you.
It's your meeting.
All right, Charlie.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm speaking for the people of Woodland, of Emerald Dam, other Emerald Lake. We've been trying to get that lake fixed for years, and are you guys doing anything about getting it fixed? It's down about 10 feet now.
I don't think we got anything to work with. We don't have nothing.
And it's still going.
Have to ask.
Well, put a maintenance request in.
They've been maintenance requests in for years.
That's all I can say. I told him to put a maintenance request in. I mean, we're doing what we can do with all, I mean, we've got several lakes to work on. I mean, we know it's leaking. I mean, we know it's leaking. I mean, we're going to get to it eventually. I mean, it might not be while I'm on the board, but, I mean, yeah.
We need to find out also, I believe there was some repairs done in the past.
Yeah, there
Yeah, there
was.
was recently repaired.
So we need to
So we're not real
research
sure
that
if it's still having an
and
issue
find
or
out
not.
what's
We
going
haven't
on.
been really made aware of it yet.
They put dye in it and they did everything else. Had people from, I don't know where they come from, come down and test it and everything. Had divers go down. It's down about as low as it's going to go because where the holes are.
Right.
You could walk around the lake and hear it sucking the water out of the lake.
I mean, we're aware of it. It's just, I mean,
They worked on it several times last year. They put,
They put straw and bentonite in her, but it didn't do no good.
Well, after this company finishes up with Crystal, that'd probably be a good thing for us to have them look at that one also.
Definitely.
So that's the plan.
Definitely. People have been living around there, haven't had to put their docks in it.
Right.
They're on dry land.
Yeah, as soon as they finish up at Crystal, we'll be sending them that way and see what they can do.
Another thing, as you said a while ago, they got all the hard roads done. They don't
No, I
have
didn't
this-
say all the hard roads done.
They don't have
I
this
did not
one.
say they had all the hard roads done.
Well,
I
you
said
said
they are
that.
finished
That's
with
what
the
you
hard
said.
roads for this year.
That's what you said, oh.
That's what I
Charlie,
meant.
what they have done looks really, really nice.
Well, I tell you what, Tinker promised to do this road.
I'm not
over to
Tinker, am
Emerald.
I? No, I'm not.
saying, I'm making a
I'm
statement.
not Tinker.
I'm making a statement. He promised to do this road out here all the way up to the
Yeah,
bathhouse.
I'm sure he did.
Bill probably promised to do it the first part of this
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
He didn't. He lied about it too.
Okay, cool.
Well, because
I wouldn't say you lied.
We have no road over there. There's 3 roads that Emerald Lakes got to get in and out of,
Right.
and they're all full of potholes. All 3 of them.
How long they been like that?
10 years.
And you want us to fix it? right
Yeah,
away?
definitely.
Okay.
I've rode it up and rode
We've
it up
got
and rode
3
it
miles
up.
done plus more patching. We can't
Fix
do it
one
all in
of
one.
them. Fix one of them.
We can't do it all in 1 year.
You're doing a lot of gravel roads that you're supposed to
Have
be
you
doing.
seen the other roads that we've done?
No, from what I
Well.
hear, they worth crap.
Anyway, is there anything else?
All right, it's time for you to go.
No,
Can I get a motion to
hey,
adjourn?
They had,
I
they had
make
more
a
time
motion
than
to
I got.
adjourn.
You
Can I
gave
get a
me.
second?
When you gonna clean up the junk over on that, on the
Meeting
Motion
adjourned.
adjourned.
East South Woodland?
we've got.
Meeting adjourned 11:16.
Yeah.
let him talk. Why are we turned into a circus? What?
Thank you. Is it working?
This is their meeting.
It's their meeting, I understand that, but the
We
the
need to
sheet's been
listen.
up.
Test.
This is their meeting.
Test. Okay. Thank you. My name's Don Hugo. We bought a property here in 1988 and built a house. And when we bought it, it was on a building lot. and we thought that was protected. And as I read this amendment, it simply says we no longer have restricted building lots. Is that incorrect?
They're still restricted right now.
Well, in terms of what can go on those lots, we're changing that, right?
It's up for vote.
It's up for vote, yeah.
That's
We're
what I'm
just trying
saying.
to
This
find a way to
amendment-
come in compliance. If you have a building lot, you could potentially have a cabin next to you right now, do you?
No.
Okay, well, there's some that do.
Say it now. So the people who are interested in like,
Right. That's my understanding. I just want to make sure I understand.
That was the only thing. Trying to find a way to come into compliance.
And I also understand that there are a lot of lots that go back to the county for taxes.
Correct.
And are sold off at $100 a
$100,
piece.
yeah.
And those people come in, use the facilities for a year, don't pay taxes, and do it again. Is that right?
Sure. That's unfortunate.
Is there anything we can do about that?
We've been working on that for years.
We're discussing a way to go down and have a meeting with Potosi and kind of look over the whole process that we're going through with some of this stuff. So hang on, stay tuned. Give us a couple months to discuss that and work on that. But we've got some things in mind that we're going to try. Thank you.
Now can I get anybody else?
He wants to say something about.
Come on up.
He wants to say something about Emerald. I think we should let him.
He can say whatever he wants. He's a trustee.
Yeah, but he can't jump in.
He can. He's a trustee.
I didn't know if I'm supposed to sign up somewhere, I will next
Yep.
time, but.
We need
So
your
you-
name also, just for the
Betsy
record.
Miller.
Right.
You
or
can pull it
Liston.
down.
Tilt it
You can
down.
pull it down.
There you go.
So you said you don't support the night owls for our security. What are you doing for us for security?
No, we haven't been contacted by them per se
so they
yet.
need to contact
We'll probably, once they get established and everything, we'll have a meeting with them, I'm
Okay,
sure.
well-
We just don't have anything to do with them at this point. We haven't had a meeting. It's just
Okay,
they
so that's
formed their
good.
group and started their process, but they haven't.
So I guess before the group formed.
Oh, we're all for security.
Yeah,
out here,
heck
don't
yeah.
get me wrong.
What are, so I guess I'm pretty new to here as well, since 17. So what do you do for security?
Right now, we have Washington County police officers come in and patrol, and we pay them to do that. And that is it at this point. Today, we just voted to hire a Woodland Lake security guard that we will have in here at different times. We're not going to say when he's here, when he's not, but be here for a lot of the functions and things like that, because right now we don't have a go-to person for security issues. So that's where we're starting, and we're going to see what we can afford with the budget, because unfortunately, it costs a lot of money.
So how, I realize you're starting with the gates in the front,
Mhm.
and they're electric,
Mhm.
but what's the plan to close that totally off? Because there's still ways around that.
Yeah. What we've been doing is, I'll be perfectly honest, we've been dropping trees.
Okay.
Because when I bought here, I thought it was a gated community. I thought it was fenced in. What? Yeah, no, it's not fenced in. It just has a gate you go through. So
Bits are gone.
that's
Yeah.
unfortunate. It would be millions of dollars to
You know,
fence
it
in
used to
this
be pretty
place
fun
this
before we
size.
all came out.
So that's not going to happen, but we are working on holes in the perimeters, and there are farmers' fences and things like that that help us out a little bit, but we've been putting a lot of time in lately trying to find out where the thieving's coming from and going, and working with Washington County as well, so.
Okay. And then, so I also have a question about the snack shack.
Mhm.
How do we know who's running that, and how do we know?
First
how
of
does it
November,
change hands?
first part of November, we'll be announcing what's going to happen with the snack shack.
And
But
do we
it's
have
still
any
under
vote
lease
on
now.
that?
Excuse me?
Do we have a vote on that?
We will, but, well,
Still
we'll
under
have a
lease.
vote. The board has a
Oh,
vote.
you guys will
Yeah.
decide.
But right now, it's still under lease till the end of
Okay.
October.
And
so.
if we wanted to state an opinion on that, we send it to the
Oh.
board?
Yeah, or talk to the meeting, come to the meeting and talk. Yeah, we're open for.
Well, we only have 2 a year.
You what?
No, we have one every month.
Every month.
Oh.
There's only 2 owner meetings where owners kind of.
Oh, but we can come to your meeting.
Oh, yeah.
The semi-annual in October and April are for elections and voting on amendments. Those are the property owner, semi-annual owner meetings. Every month, we have a monthly board meeting that's open for all the owners to attend. And you
Okay.
can sign up to speak at those meetings too.
And those are on the weekends?
They're the second weekend of every month.
Second Saturday of every month.
Saturday, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And while I got the floor, I'd like to say one other thing. I know Charlie left, but I'd like everyone to know that in the last few months, actually many months, me and the other fellow trustees had a meeting with an engineer out here to look at Crystal Lake and go over a bunch of things. We got a couple proposals. We are working with an engineering company to design and construct the next phase on that dam. And myself and several other trustees have also spoke about Emerald Lake and what we're going to try to pursue once we're done with the project on Crystal Lake. But we have to finish that one first before we move on to the next one.
And we do want to get it fixed. We want all the lakes, we are Woodland Lakes, we've been saying that. So we want to work on all the lakes.
Motion to adjourn.
Anybody else got a
Anybody
question?
else want to talk? Karen?
All right.
No.
I'll second. Make a motion.
Second.
We're adjourned. Somebody second.
Somebody seconded it.